Yet both are coming from one record, one groove, picked up by one stylist. Almost like playing two different tunes on the same violin at the same time.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rambles and Records with me and my good friend Billy.
Hi.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about how major record labels are reportedly in licensing talks with controversial AI music generators Udio and Suno.
We're also going to be talking a little bit about the importance of going out and spending time with our friends.
Exactly. If you stick around till the end, we're going to be touching on a new segment, giving you something old, something new, and telling you similarities around it, and giving you recommendations at the same time, and talking about other records, and what else?
Lots of good stuff. Boom.
You know, like on Diary of a CEO. There's two major key points that you need to know about this. One is this, and the other is
Rambles and Records.
Suno and Udio, which are AI music generators, are in talks with major record labels for licensing deals.
Really?
After suing them last year for copyright infringement. So it seems as if...
So wait, so the major publishers sued these AI apps last year.
Correct.
Now they're in talks for licensing.
That's it.
I mean, that's how Spotify started.
That's a good point.
Like the record labels were,
pissed.
They were really pissed, and they fought Spotify for a long time. And obviously, eventually, they just weren't able to stop it because it offered too much for people. They realized the world was changing, the technology was changing, and they had to kind of accept the change and then work with them. And it sounds like it's happened. It's almost like shit. This has happened before. Maybe if we jump on board sooner than our competitors. If we jump on Suno, then, maybe they'll get like a competitive edge over another publisher that's kind of on par.
Yeah, agreed. The demand has took over, hasn't it? For those who don't know, Suno and Udio, what do they do? Well, they're tools that generate sort of complete music tracks from text prompts, which initially raised serious copyright concerns around how they were trained, because it's not necessarily the content they churn out, it is how they are prompted. It was unprecedented, and it included like kind of possible use of copyrighted recordings without permission, basically.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a hot topic in generative AI across the board.
It's not just music.
For music, but there's obviously been a lot of stuff in the news with paintings and visual art. So they're trying to get licensing deals with the publishers so that they can legally generate tracks just based off their back catalogue, basically.
Correct. And it's to kind of buffer them. Yeah, I believe that it's a classic case of if you can't beat them, join them. And they're just piggybacking onto it to avoid any future backlash. The legal tension itself, I guess it's a licensing opportunity. Despite the lawsuits, talks now focus on kind of license fees and a small equity stake in the startups. So basically they'll get a chunk of it in royalties.
Of course.
Similar to, again, Spotify.
I mean, so first of all, I don't think most people that care about music are going to be thrilled about it. But it's also hard to imagine, once the technology's there, once that box is kind of open, like, you can fight it, and you just like kind of get nowhere and waste loads of energy fighting it. Or you can kind of just accept it and then just like, how can I make the most of it?
Or how can I use this energy to build a compromise? How can I adapt and kind of say, well, okay, it's here now. It's not going to never not be here again. We may as well jump on it and see how we can kind of build some sort of balance between it not taking over completely.
Yeah. And I guess, are they going to be producing music for people to listen to the same way that we enjoy music now? Or is it more for like...
pop singles?
No, not like pop singles, but like music that's used, say, on adverts or TV programs,
jingles,
or cafe playlists or something. Just kind of some kind of generic music that serves a purpose that isn't kind of written with necessarily the same creative expression that your favorite songs might, but kind of serves like a mood setting practical thing.
Good point. That's an interesting concept. It's not just the music that pleases the charts or modern releases. It's kind of, as you say, music that's used in all sorts of media, or as you say, building an atmosphere, building sounds and music around your business and stuff
No,
like
exactly. Because I think
Yeah.
that is a huge part of the music industry, and like
Of course.
it's not the thing that most people think of when they think about music, because what we tend to think about is the things we have the more personal relationship with. Our favorite records that we hold dear. That is what we see as music, but there's this world of music that kind of exists around it, and I imagine that's where it's really kind of going to be intended for. I think so much a part of what we like about music isn't just that the song is better than another song. It's the whole story that comes with it. We as humans are invested in narratives and emotions. And when we relate to an artist pouring their heart out about a breakup or having fun in the summer or whatever, it's that human relation that you can kind of make with that person. And like, there's just no way that you're ever going to get that same thing from AI music, at least as long as if you're aware it's AI music.
Agreed. And basically it got me thinking about the beauty in human error as well. So the idea of the journey on making the art and how that authenticity of creation from the human mind might become more valuable.
Yeah.
So, in regards to record labels buying rights to AI content and how these things are going, I believe the skepticism of authenticity within the world of art is growing, and it will continue to grow to the point where the proof of human creation in a piece of art might be just as valuable as the art itself. I think it'll
Yeah.
be craved.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And this is something I'm hearing people talking about a lot recently. But I think, when like generative tools like ChatGPT first started coming out, we were kind of blown away by like how human it almost seemed. But I think as we've gotten used to it, we can tell the difference between a ChatGPT generated sentence or paragraph and a genuine human one. And they are less perfect. And there might be mistakes in it, and that human element of it makes it all that bit more valuable, because a person has used their own brain and energy and effort to craft, if it's a sentence or a song or a painting. And even if it's not as technically perfect as a piece generated by a computer, it just means a lot more to a person.
And yeah, man, like a thought came to me, and it was that, so imagine you're at an art gallery and you see two pieces of art, two paintings. You take an equal liking to both of these paintings. They're both different, but for whatever reason you can't decide which is best. And then one of the paintings has a QR code next to it, and you scan it, and it takes you to a time-lapse video of the artist painting the piece. By hand, it shows the blemishes and the intricate details being made in real time, and the craftsmanship. It proves its authenticity. The video finishes, take a step back, you look at the two paintings again. Which one's going to be your favorite?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. The one that you've seen the toil.
Exactly. And I think that is an example of so many different things to come. That human creation is going to be so sought after, and proof of that is going to be invaluable. And it brings me on to instrumentation. It's equally along with any prediction of like rising appeal of human error. We'll be waiting to watch someone nail something with an instrument, or even the endearing way of not nailing something. Like,
Yeah,
oh, he
yeah,
fucked
yeah.
that up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it wouldn't be an eye rolling thing. It would be like, oh my God, at least he's human doing it. I mean,
Of
it's
course.
already impressive, but those performances will become even more powerful.
Absolutely. We're going to see more and more generated content and media, probably a lot of corporate stuff and social media stuff and stuff that we see on Instagram and Facebook and even on billboards or whatever. Is going to be probably more and more generated, because it's going to be more cost effective for companies to produce content that way. And then when we see genuine human work, we're just going to appreciate that a bit more. And it brings me back as well to the point of, it's the story behind the piece that makes it so much more valuable. Like, no one ever looked at a painting and was like, oh, that one's worth 6 million. And then that one next to it's only worth 10,000, just based on the quality of the paint alone.
Yeah.
It's the whole story that comes with the painting and the artist behind it and what they did in their life. And if you're just going to look at a print on a wall, like, that It's not valuable on its own. It's knowing the story behind it.
Exactly. I think it will become a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get us there quicker and allow us to then learn the best way or concise way to direct your art. But the appeal to desire that art in a more genuine, authentic way will grow. So it'll become more valuable and people will have the money and time to take on that art because of the autonomous ways that AI saves us money. You know, I think it's going to allow us to create more cool shit.
That's actually been my like optimist's view of the AI revolution. You know, technology is supposed to save us time, and somehow with the technology we've had so far, we haven't saved time. We've just become busier. Like we've just started doing more work. But if we actually get to a point where the technologies are actually good enough that people have to work 70% of the time that we currently are just because that's how much work there is going to be, then, you know, maybe people can use that extra time to create more art and to hang out with their mates and to hang out with their family and to listen to music and eat good food and do all those things that makes us human.
Agreed. I think at the start it was this thing of like, well, we can just maximize workload to get more profit. But now we're realizing actually, let's take the pay cut on it. Let's get some time back instead of money.
Yeah.
And let's.
Well, we might not even need to take a pay cut because, you know, if productivity increases because the computer's doing so much work and that wealth is still being generated, as long as it's not all being funneled into one person's pocket.
Which is a bit of a problem that I think needs to be kind of addressed. But yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about rich CEOs. Yeah, 100%, man. Which is good. It's positive.
There's a great potential for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Rambles and Records.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle. It's dramatically new.
What's been going on in Billy's world? Billy's world.
I can kind of segue from your point actually into what I was going to talk about as well. Like, if you're going to go to a concert and you have one option where it's a load of robots, like you just have a piano that plays itself and it's programmed and it plays everything perfectly. Similarly, you have the whole band is just automatic instruments that plays the song perfectly. Like, do you think that's going to be more entertaining than watching a human do the same thing?
Absolutely not. In terms of discovery, you know.
But like, it could be interesting as a novelty maybe, but like, I think you're always going to enjoy the experience of watching a human play it. I would just kind of wanted to touch on the importance of going out and being with real people. Like, obviously, with summer is coming now, and obviously all the events are starting in Malta. We've been at a festival on the weekend, Boomerang. Yeah.
Sick.
So that's a relatively new festival in Malta. I think it's in its third year. And then, and last night was out at a local beach party.
Billy was on the daiquiris. Billy was on the margs. Were you drinking cocktails?
No.
Beer?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
You know, I was at a festival with some guys who just got off the plane from Serbia, dancing to a Portuguese DJ with people from all over the world. And like the only thing that we all had in common was that the music that we were enjoying. There's so many different cultures and points of reference there. Nobody even needs to talk. You're just there and you're just dancing and you're just having a good time. And that's like a super powerful thing.
There's something different with a live gig where you just feel that the electricity of being around other people, hearing the same thing, enjoying the same thing, looking over to people enjoying themselves, dancing. Or if they're dancing, I can dance.
Exactly,
I'm not going to get judged until the music stops and everyone points at me and goes, Clark, what are you doing dancing? Loser. No, it's one of those things that you can't really explain as well.
No, exactly, yeah.
It just...
Yeah, like the concept of dancing is kind of mad. Like maybe at one point in my life I would have felt a bit uncomfortable to go to a dance floor and dance. And, like I can't, dance by any formal metric, but just to go and like move your body like to some music. Like we just kind of all have that intrinsically in us that for some reason that makes us feel good. And for some reason doing it around other people also feels good. And like
it's mad.
Yeah, like what is that?
It's fucking crazy when you think about it. Like, none of us can dance. There's a very small percentage of people that can, quote, dance, even though we want to all kind of make out like we're somewhat competent. Nobody can dance. Yeah, you know, whether you have the influence of alcohol or not, which is a factor in it. Once you get up there and you see everyone else do it, everyone's just swaying. I think subconsciously we look at other people and like see how they're dancing and like sort of dance the same. And it's like, so it's that sort of weird dance move we're doing. Okay, great,
That's the
brilliant.
thing, and like you'll notice that like at some point you'll be dancing for so long, and then everyone's kind of synchronized, and you're like, oh whoa.
I'd love a social experiment where you completely, half of the crowd completely changes what dance move they're doing and just see what the other half are doing then. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. What can you say?
No, and I did see an interesting video on this last week, actually. It's from the School of Life. It was talking about the importance of just being able to let your hair down sometimes and just go and dance like an idiot, and the psychological benefits of that. And I think there is like a deep biological need for humans to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you know, just hanging out with some people, like even if they're not going to be your best friends forever, or maybe they will. These sometimes random encounters where you can just go and then just be human. And then like you can never have this experience with a VR headset or sat on your sofa or
not in the same way, no, absolutely. I think when you get into your 30s as well, you start to think, I can't be arsed, just staying a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then even when you go, oh fuck's sake, I'm going out, I don't want to go out. And then you get there, and actually,
you have a great time.
You have a really, really, really good time.
Yeah, just to connect with people and like and I think it's more and more relevant in a world where technology is trying to replace some of those things. Not all technology, but I think there is some technology which tries to make things too convenient and takes away that human element.
Thing is, Bill, we're human, and the novelty's going to fade off. And next thing you know, we're going to be up in the club doing our weird dance moves.
Yeah, I think I see two paths with the AI revolution. We had the optimistic path that I've already mentioned. The other path is that the computers decide that we're worthless and don't give us jobs in society. So we're all become poor and we just basically live in like these underground nightclubs where we just dance and get drunk and like run away from AIs.
With VR headsets on a drip, being fed vitamins. Like the Matrix, basically.
That's not what I had in mind. I was...
The death of society. You weren't talking about that.
Yeah, maybe that's the even next level down worse. Yeah.
1990s, very industrial.
Yeah.
In terms of like phones and that, like everyone's got flip phones and leather dusters.
Exactly. No. Well, exactly. Well, yeah. One way or the other, we end up having a more human experience. You know. So either the technology rejects us and we just have to like survive by having fun however we can, or we live in harmony with the technology and we have more time to be human because we don't have to work so much.
Rambles and records.
And together they give us the fullness of living stereo.
I was going to lean into talking about an experience I had a few years ago and a record that I dug out the other week, which I wanted to share with you. So this is Hammer's self-titled album, Hammer with one M. This was a Leeds-based band, and this came out in 2019 on Clue Records. We played a show with these guys and another band called Omens and a few other bands in Liverpool. Like, it was the first time meeting most of the people there, and we ended up just kind of like hanging out that evening, just got on really well, talking about music, shared loads of music, listened to loads of music, played loads of music, just had a great experience. And like, also recommend just checking out this album because it's really cool. Really kind of fast, blow your mind punk.
Blow your mind punk.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but it's really cool.
It's always nice when there's a personal story put to it as well. Are they still doing stuff?
I don't think they are. Actually, it was interesting as well. When I moved to Malta, I mentioned it to him. He said, "Oh, you got to check out this band, Fuzz Honeys." He actually knew a local Maltese band because he had booked them to play in Leeds because he used to put shows on as well. But I've ended up meeting one of the members since.
Yeah.
Yeah, small world.
Small world. Small island.
It is a small island.
Okay, man. Put that in the show notes. Go check it out. I'm going to check it out after this. Beautiful.
Rambles and records.
I also have some music that I wanted to share, and I wanted to potentially create a little bit of a new segment.
Okay.
This new segment is called Something Old, Something New. And it's a segment where we pair up two great albums, one from the past, one from, I say the present, but I'm thinking like post-millennium. Yeah, just to give us a bit of leeway, you know. And then we dig into like weird little connections between them, you know, albums that sound the same, but also have weird coincidences in the backstory. And I just thought it's a cool way to kind of recommend two amazing albums whilst sort of nerding out a little bit about how they came to be.
Okay.
So the old album, so something old, is Paul and Linda McCartney's album, Ram. So Ram, it was released in May 1971. I love the album personally. This was Paul's second solo album, but the first where he really seemed to sort of relax and just do his own thing.
Okay.
And it's got a cool backstory. It's like, so post Beatles breaking up, he then ran off to a farm in Scotland with Linda, his then
Like
wife.
literally running.
Yeah, the ultramarathon. Went there after the Beatles breakup, which was like messy and dramatic at the time, and he just chilled there and started to write some songs. But it was done in this kind of no rules, anything goes. He linked up with obviously Linda on it. I think initially he wanted to get a band involved, but then he was like, "Fuck it, I'll just do it with my wife." So instead of trying to make the Beatles 2.0,
Yep.
he goes like more playful with it. Sometimes it's very oddball, it's very weird, but in a great way.
Okay.
Wonky sort of arrangements and some pretty cool stuff in there. The whole
Nice.
thing feels like someone finally breathing again after years of being on like a pressure cooker, you know, being with the biggest band in the world, literally. And then it breaks up and it's like, oh, you can actually just do whatever the hell you want. It feels like that.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
So, and then there's a bit of drama in there as well, because there's a track on there called Too Many People, and it's basically a diss track to John Lennon. It's like, yo, John, I fucking don't like you. It's a quick 16. It's like, yo, John, fuck you and your glasses. And then like, no, it doesn't mention his glasses, but basically this album came out in May, and he had some jabs towards John in there. And then did John Lennon let it slide? No.
No.
So then John came back with his own response, and he was like, yo, full on diss track for you. In the song How Do You Sleep? And that came out on Imagine, and Imagine came out in September. So there's a lot of Beatles beef going on in this year, 1971. But yeah, a little bit more about the album. The back cover of it has a photo of two Beatles getting it on.
Is that
So it's a
like?
little bit of a,
Is that
I
like?
don't know what it means.
Is that meant to be like him and
Him and
John?
John making up
Yeah, maybe.
in a weird way.
That is strange, isn't it?
It's strange, actually, when you think of it.
Unless
Yeah,
it's
it should be
like-
two Beatles fighting, not making love. Also, what's interesting with Ram is that it was initially a bit of a flop. Critics hated it in the 70s, and it's become this, I don't know, really well-aged proto-indie cult classic.
Okay.
The biggest track on it was Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, which went to #1 in the US, and I'm going to give you a little flavour of that. We haven't done this in a while, Bill, so basically we're going to listen to like 30 seconds of this and jump back in.
Rambles and Records.
I think it's cool, man. Like the video to go with it is just really... It's like I'm watching a movie.
At which point did I make the sausages?
What do you mean?
Linda McCartney sausages? No.
Is there some product placement in the middle of this? I didn't realise. Sponsored by Linda McCartney Sausages. So yeah, that was a bit of Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey. We'll go ahead and put the link to that in the description. Go check it out. Really cool song. And now it takes us then into like the new album, something new. So with that, the album that I'm going to link this with is Do Hollywood by the Lemon Twigs.
Okay.
So obviously Lemon Twigs, brothers, Brian and Michael Daddario, and they were teenagers when they made this, which I think is really impressive because it sounds like something on 70s, like AM radio. It's just really it's timeless. Came out in October 2016. Very established musicians, instrumentalists for the time, especially the age that we were at, and they're making like kind of YouTube videos that feel like a sort of lost TV performance from the 70s. Like they went for that aesthetic, right? And then they split the writing between the two of them, and the album, it's got that weirdness to it. It sounds like the same sort of kind of similarities you hear in I feel, Ram. And I listened to both of those albums together back to back today.
Right.
Really enjoyable to find the similarities. I'm trying to think of the links, right? And there's obviously there's a bit of a family thing. Paul and Linda, husband, wife. You got Brian, Michael, brothers. There's almost this like intimacy of the weirdness around making music with someone you're really close to.
Yeah.
And it's just got this like oddball energy. So as I say, like Paul was coming to the end of the Beatles, and the Twigs was sort of stepping away from like YouTube obscurity and initial kind of buzz, and then they get like their first creative breath. You know, it's just one of those. And it got weird critical reception. So over time, both of these albums become very much like cult classics. So yeah, man, I'm going to do 30 seconds of the Lemon Twigs. The single I'm going to play from their album Do Hollywood is I Want to Prove to You.
In what follows, there's no script, no rehearsals, just the truth as it unfolds.
I wanna prove to you.
Rambles and records.
Yeah,
What do you
man.
think?
Cool. And yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
see what you mean with like the kind of quirkiness, but it's still the kind of proficiency on the instruments and stuff.
Instrumentally, it's amazing. It's really cool. Like technically what they're doing is really impressive considering they were teenagers. So yeah, if you like Paul McCartney, Ram, go check out the Lemon Twigs Do Hollywood.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa, of course. But yeah, listen to them back to back. See if you agree.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm going to try and keep doing this. Just kind of find albums that complement each other, like wine and steak or some other food.
I mean, that's probably not the best analogy for a song featuring Linda McCartney.
Oh yeah, true. Wine and
Falafel.
tofu.
Perfect.
Rambles and records.
Right, and that just about wraps it up.
So we've done
Right.
the rambles, we've done the records.
I think that's it.
Cool.
So yeah, follow us on socials or don't, and whatever you do, just keep doing whatever it is that you want to do. Billy, any nutritional advice?
If you like fall over and you bruise your elbow or something, or if you have any kind of injury, actually, pour rakia on it, which is like really strong, like homemade Balkan brandy. So,
Okay. This is going more into medicinal advice now, but I think
I mean, food is medicine. This is the most important thing to take away from the nutritional facts. We
Got ya.
don't need medicine. We just need nutrition.
nutrition, because nutrition is medicine.
Yes, exactly. It's one on
And
one.
that's Billy's hot take. Love it. Okay, cool. See you next week.
See you next week.